This video will introduce you to the PRINCE2 sample project by Mplaza, which is a fully documented PRINCE2 project. It's based on the latest version of PRINCE2. As far as we know, this is the only documented sample project available, and we hope there will be more in the future. So why did we create this PRINCE2 sample project? Well, the most common question that we get in our PRINCE2 training classes is there a documented sample PRINCE2 project, as people like to see how it looks in practice? I even asked this question myself when I did my PRINCE2 training. Otherwise, we're just learning theory and no practice. It's a bit like a chef learning how to cook from books, but never actually going into a kitchen. So what do most people do today after a PRINCE2 training? Well, they go back to their office, they put the training slides into a cabinet, never to be seen again. They update their LinkedIn profile to say they now have a PRINCE2 certification, and then they go back to their existing way of working. And the main reason for this is because they don't know how or where to start to apply PRINCE2. So from the company's point of view, this is actually a waste of money. So who is this sample PRINCE2 project for? Well, starting with PRINCE2 foundation students, you just need to have an overview of PRINCE2, so you don't need to know PRINCE2 in detail. We would advise you to browse over the main PRINCE2 documents from this sample project, as it will help your understanding. And we advise to look at these documents: the project mandate, the project brief, the initiation stage plan, a product description, PID, register files, and the log files. And you can use our free version of the sample project for this, so you don't need to pay for the full sample project. Next, for practitioner students. Well, on a typical PRINCE2 course, a practitioner course, you spend about 60% of your time practicing questions, so practicing exam questions. And on the first day, you do a very, very quick overview of PRINCE2. So the result is, it's not actually a PRINCE2 practitioner course, it's more of an exam preparation course. And you get little practical knowledge of how PRINCE2 works. So what do you need to know for the practitioner exam? Well, you need to get familiar with all PRINCE2 management products, so management documents. You should be aware of their structure and typical contents, and that's where the sample project can help you. You have to understand the document descriptions in the appendix of the manual, and you also have to learn how to read and interpret the project scenario provided in the exam, so to understand the business case and risk information, and so on. Some tips from us. We have a PRINCE2 audiobook, so this is good to listen to because you can listen to this going to and from work. We also have a PRINCE2 Q&A course. This is both available in PDF format and audio format. This sample project, of course, and we also provide extra exams. So normally each training company provides the same 2 exams, but we also provide 2 extra. So you should attempt these after you learn PRINCE2, of course, and that will help you to make sure that you will pass the exam. Okay, now we can start with the sample project, and I will do a quick run through of some of the documents, not them all because that's for another video. So we begin with the project scenario, and this is written in a very simple style, so we've made it as simple as possible, as the main focus should be on using PRINCE2 and using the management documents. So you'll find this easy to understand. Next then, we have the pre-project activities, or we call them starting up a project activities. We use this diagram to represent all of the documents as they are created. So this is where here we have the pre-project and we have the project mandate, and this is the trigger for the project. So let's take a look at the project mandate. And the project mandate document is written before the project actually starts. So this is an example, and as you can see, it does not have to contain very much information. Normally just the reasons for the project and to appoint the executive. That's it really. But here I've added other information to give a little bit of background, and this is also possible in a typical project mandate document. Next then we have the lessons log, because PRINCE2 says the project manager, the first thing they have to do is to gather lessons, and all project stakeholders are invited to provide these lessons. So it's up to the project manager to go out and gather this, to facilitate it. So this is our lessons log, and it's created by the project manager. The different columns are, here we have positive and negative. So does the lesson have a positive or negative effect on the project? Here the recommendation is, or the lesson is, we used a business gifts company, the BizGifts last year, and they offered a good service. So this is a positive lesson, and that's why we have our happy face here. Next then we say, have we seen this before? So is it a risk? And if yes, how did we deal with it? Yes, we've seen it before. The date it was logged, who it was logged by, the priority, so how important is this lesson? And it's quite important because buying or the gifts company that we deal with is an important part of the project. And when do we think we will use this lesson? Well, of course, we can update this later as we do the planning of the project. So that's an overview of the lessons log. So next we have an example of the daily log, but I don't want to go into too much detail here as it's not the scope of this video. It's just an introduction to the sample project. Next then we have the project product description. So here the goal of the project product description is to produce or to create a very high level document that will describe the main output of the project. So for example, if you're building a small apartment block, then you can write a description of that apartment block in about 2 pages, and that's what we're looking for. So this slide here gives an overview of how to define the requirements. So in this case, the project manager hosted a workshop to create the project product description, and the main goals were to get the buy-in from necessary stakeholders, identify the most important requirements for the pen and prioritize them, because selecting a pen for the project is an important part. And then with this information, they can add this then to the product description. So down here then we have all the requirements. We have them laid out using the Moscow technique. So Moscow stands for must have, should have, could have, and other. So the must have requirements for the pen that we will select is it must be a quality looking pen, have a 5-year guarantee, the logo has to be displayed properly, and the pen has to be easy to write with. Later we will define how we can measure all of this. Then we have our should have requirements and could have requirements and other and so on. So these requirements then, as I said, will be placed in the project product description. This is the example of the project product description, which becomes part of the project brief. The sections are the purpose. We have our composition, so what's the main part of the project? The quality information, so how do we know that we've provided the proper level of quality which is required? So that information is here, which is a big part of the document. We have the derivation, so what information did we use to create this, and the development skills required. So as you can see, it can be quite simple. It doesn't have to be a very, very complex document. Okay, from now on, I'm just going to run through the slides or some of the slides very quickly. So next we have our project management team. So that's the example there I use. You can get an idea then on which roles the people in the project management team came from. Next we have our outline business case. So it's quite a simple document again. Then we have the project brief, which is all this information together, and that's the project brief. Then we have our initiation stage plan. So that's the plan for the planning stage or the initiation stage. So again, it's quite simple. Now we come into the initiation stage. So the documents here are our 4 strategy documents. So I give an example of the communication management strategy. This strategy document, like the other 3 strategy documents, become part of the PID. Next, then we have the product breakdown structure. In this case, the pen project is broken down into these 5 parts, and then we've listed the sub-products underneath here. This is the same information in mind map format, as some people prefer to work in this way. Then we have a product description. So as you can see, it's quite simple information. You don't have to type pages and pages of document for this. This is the risk register, and it's a good example then of a risk register as well. Next, we have our benefits review plan. which again is not too much information. Next, then we have project controls. So this is again one of the documents which become part of the PID and an important document. Then we have our project plan. This is part 1 of the project plan. And this is part 2, providing a Gantt chart and other resource information. Next, then we have our business case. And again, you can see it's quite a condensed document, but all the information that you need is here. So I could go on, but it's like this for all of the other documents included in the project. And let me show you where we end up. And this is where we end up. So I cover all the documents in the project, and some of them a number of times as they are updated in different stages. So that gives you a complete overview on how to use these documents in a PRINCE2 project. Next, how to download. You can visit our website at mplaza.pm, go on the home page, then click on free resources, and we go to the free sample PRINCE2 project here. And here then you have got 2 choices. You can download the free version, which covers most of the data, or the premium version. So as I said, for the foundation certification, you can use the free, and for the practitioner, we suggest you use the premium versions. Okay, and that's it. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed the sample project. Bye-bye.